Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today's our topic is molecular orbital theory. In order to consider the magnetic behavior means whether a molecule is paramagnetic or diamagnetic. Similarly, bond strengths within molecules, their energetics means are they stable or they unstable, what is the number of bonds in them. Taking into consideration these points, a theory were put forward by Millikan and Hund. In 1932. We call that theory as molecular orbital theory. We have already this theory, this valence bond theory, and now after that this molecular orbital theory. There were some limitations in valence bond theory. Just like O2 molecule is diamagnetic as per valence bond theory, diamagnetic. But experimentally O2 molecule is paramagnetic. Why O2 is paramagnetic? Its explanation is not in valence bond theory. This theory gives us clearly why O2 molecule is paramagnetic. So this is one of the limitations. After that, I may say, for example, there is a ionic species, this one, He2 positive. This exists. Why this exists? There is not any kind of explanation in valence bond theory. Molecular orbital theory clearly explains why this exists, because its bond order is greater than 0. Any molecule, according to molecular orbital theory, having bond order greater than 0, that will exist. So this experimentally exists and its explanation is in molecular orbital theory. But I may say just like this, these are the two theories in our hands, just like a bucket of water. We are carrying a bucket of water. If our right hand gets tired, then we take that bucket, we carry that bucket by means of our left hand. In a similar way, in some aspects, if valence bond theory fails, then we approach to molecular orbital theory. We take it as shallow. In some cases, if molecular orbital theory fails, for example, molecular orbital theory not explains the concept of resonance. At that time, we may approach towards valence bond theory. So these two theories we put with ourselves hand by hand. Means we can apply simultaneously these two theories in order to explain bonding in molecules. Now, first of all, within this lecture, I will give you the main ideas of molecular orbital theory. After that, we will take the examples of homonuclear diatomic molecules, their energy level diagrams. After that, we will take some examples of heteronuclear diatomic molecules, their energy level diagrams. Firstly, going to this topic, that means main ideas of this theory. What are the main postulates? What are the main assumptions of this theory? It again, as per valence bond theory, just like as valence bond theory starts with atomic orbital, in a similar fashion, molecular orbital theory also starts up with the atomic orbitals. We know in molecules, atomic orbitals combine. Now, in what way they will combine, that is the approach of valence bond theory and molecular orbital theory. First point of this theory is, this theory says that atomic orbitals combine, leading to formation of new orbitals. Those orbitals we call as molecular orbitals. New orbitals within this theory are formed by the combination of atomic orbitals. Those new orbitals formed we call as molecular orbitals. But within this theory, in comparison to valence bond theory, we may make an analogy just like this. we have two eggs. We have two eggs. When I will peel off their shells and put them in a pan, just like this, here one egg and here one egg. After some time, their portions will intermix to some extent with respect to each other, just like this. This is the approach of valence bond theory. After that, moving towards this one, molecular orbital theory. In that case, we may first of all take them in a bubble. After that, mixing them, we will put them in a frying pan. Then they will form a mixture just like this. So, according to this theory, this is the point in molecular orbital theory. According to this theory, these atomic orbitals do not lose their identities even after this overlapping. Within this theory, they lose their identities. New orbitals are formed. They have new characteristics. They are not now atomic orbitals. They are the molecular orbitals. After that, I will move towards this point. Only those orbitals will combine. In this atomic orbitals, they are combining. Only those atomic orbitals will combine which have similar energies and proper orientation. Only those atomic orbitals will combine which are comparable in energies, and after that they are properly oriented so that they will mix with each other, they will combine with each other. This is the important point of this theory. According to this point, I may say just like this. If we have an atomic orbital of 1s, that 1s will combine with 1s because their energies are comparable, here equivalent. After that, their orientation, this one also spherical, this one also spherical, they will combine. They will combine in this way, leading to formation of molecular orbital. Molecular orbital is like this. Within this orbital, the electron density, electron distribution may be somewhere in between the nuclei. This orbital is polycentric. We know atomic orbitals are monocentric. However, molecular orbitals are now polycentric. They are the orbitals of a molecule. Just like we have orbitals in an atom. They are around the atom, they are in space of the nucleus, they are beyond the nucleus in a similar manner. We have nuclei in a molecule. Around those nuclei, there are now orbitals. We call those orbitals as molecular orbitals. So these molecular orbitals are under the influence of two or more nuclei. That is why we can call these orbitals as polycentric. Here I mean to say 1s orbital will combine with 1s orbital. No, 1s will not combine with 2s. Why? Because they differ in their energy. Similarly, 1s orbital will combine with 2p z orbital. If we will take z axis as the bonding axis, as the molecular axis, then I can say this 1s will not combine with this orbital. This overlapping is not effective. Means 1s will not combine with 2px or 2py. So in this way, they must have, combining orbitals must have proper orientation. If they possess these two characteristics, means comparable energies, after that proper orientation, then those orbitals, atomic orbitals of the two combining atoms, they will lead to formation of molecular orbital. Moving towards this next point says that number of molecular orbitals formed is equal to number of atomic orbitals combined. So in this way, if two atomic orbitals combine, they will lead to formation of two molecular orbitals. Two molecular orbitals. These two molecular orbitals, in them one we call as bonding molecular orbital, another one we call as anti-bonding molecular orbital. Anti-bonding molecular orbital. This bonding molecular orbital is lower in energy. Lower in energy. After that, this one is higher in energy. Means this one leads to stability of the molecule. Stability of the molecule, and this one counts towards its instability. Means number of electrons within these orbitals, if their number increases, then that molecule will be considered as unstable. So they are of higher energy. If number of electrons they are more within these, then we can say that molecule is unstable. These bonding molecular orbitals lead to formation of bond in between two combining atoms. Lead to formation of a bond in between two combining atoms. However, these two, they are not supportive towards bond formation. They simply, I may say, they cause repulsion in between two nuclei. They not contribute towards their attraction. They simply lead to instability, and these molecular orbitals lead to stability. I will first of all sketch the diagrams leading to formation of bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbital theory. First of all, we will move towards this portion. In this fashion, we will say, or we will simply write how atomic orbitals combine and what are bonding molecular orbitals and what are anti-bonding molecular orbitals. First of all, this point, these atomic orbitals, we know atomic orbitals according to quantum mechanical model, they are represented by means of wave functions. For example, this is one atom and this one has another atom. Then its wave function we denote as psi A, its wave function we denote as psi B. Then these two wave functions will combine with each other in two ways. One we call as additive overlap by means of addition, and another way is their subtraction. Their subtraction by means of additive overlap, bonding molecular orbitals are formed, and by means of subtractive overlap in between them, anti-bonding molecular orbitals are formed. Anti-bonding molecular orbitals are formed by subtractive overlap of two combining atomic orbitals. This is just like this. We know these waves are represented by means of these crusts and truffles. This we call as positive sign. This is represented by means of positive, and this one as negative sign. If positive one will combine, if we have two waves, I will consider this interference of waves. If we have two waves, one just like this, means consisting of crusts and truffles, this wave propagating in an atom, in one atom, after that combined with another one atom. It is wave function. So this one has another one's wave function. If they will combine just like this, its crust will fall on the crust of this, its trough will fall on the trough of this. Then the resultant wave means this addition. There is an addition in between them. In this fashion, a crest of one wave falls on the crest of another wave. Then the resultant wave is having more amplitude in comparison to the waves which have combined. So this wave is considered as additive overlap. So its amplitude is more in comparison to these two waves. This we call as additive overlap. After that, if in this fashion they will combine in this fashion, what means subtractive overlap? Means its trough will now fall on its crust. Its trough will fall on now. Its crest means it is positive and negative. These portions will combine. Then the resultant wave may be having amplitude even may be zero. If it is this amplitude is equal to the amplitude of this wave, then the resultant may be zero. If among these two, if there is not some kind of phase difference, then there may be a wave that is having less amplitude in comparison to these two. This we call as subtractive wave. So combining these atomic orbitals in an additive way or in a subtractive way, we get two types of orbitals. We call those orbitals as bonding molecular orbitals and anti-bonding molecular orbitals. In case of bonding, for example, this one has positive, this one has positive sign. These are simply signs, this is not the numerical value. If they will add with each other, they will combine, they will lead to formation of this molecular orbital. We call this molecular orbital as bonding molecular orbital. This type of orbital will be formed in between s orbitals. For example, this is 1s and this one has 1s. Then this one has bonding additive overlap. After that, if they will combine in this fashion, means one having positive sign, another one has negative sign, they will combine in this way. That means there will occur negative overlapping. There will occur subtractive overlap in between them. Then what happens? They will not come close to each other. They will move away from each other. This one has positive, this one has negative. We call this orbital as anti-bonding molecular orbital. Anti-bonding molecular orbital. These bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbitals are represented by these Greek letters sigma, pi, delta, etc. This is their denotion. These are the molecular orbitals. These are the bonding molecular orbitals. Now anti-bonding molecular orbitals are put just like this. Sigma star, pi star, delta star. This one, delta star. After that, filling in molecular orbitals occurs according to the same rules as applied in case of filling in atomic orbitals. That means according to Hubble principle, according to Pauli's principle, similarly according to Hund's rule, these molecular orbitals are also filled as per the rules applied in case of filling of atomic orbital. So this one is having a nodal plane. This one we call as nodal plane. That means the probability density of electrons within this region, within this plane is equal to 0. Here the probability density in between the two nuclei, that is more. So this orbital is represented as sigma. If we will look on this, then we call this as sigma 1s and this one as sigma star 1s. So this one has bonding and this one has anti-bonding. Similarly, in case of p orbital, suppose this is the molecular axis 2p z orbital. If that will combine with another 2p orbital, 2p z orbital of another atom, then if there occurs this additive overlap, means positive falls on positive, crest falls on crest, then the molecular orbital formed that is just like this. It is this probability density is more in the central region in comparison to regions which are outside, which are beyond the two nuclei. Here is the probability density of finding the electrons that is more within this region. This is the positive overlap. This is the combination of this and this. After that, these are the negative lobes, means where electron density is very less. Similarly, if two orbitals, this one is the bonding molecular orbital means sigma. If this occurs head-on overlap, we call that as sigma. This is sigma 2pz. In this fashion, if there may occur this type of overlap, this one has positive and it is negative lobe, this one, in between them there is subtractive overlap, then what happens? Then the electron density in between the nuclei that gets reduced. Simply the bigger lobe is towards this side and smaller lobe is in between the nuclei. Means there is a plane. This nodal plane is not having any kind of electron density. Probability of finding electron here, that is equal to 0. So these are the lobes. This is the anti-bonding molecular orbital. Anti-bonding molecular orbital formed in between two 2p-Z orbitals if they will combine with each other in subtractive type of overlap. If we have this one has 2py, that will not combine with 2px, that will combine with 2py. Again, taking proper symmetry into consideration. If this happens, positive falls on positive, negative falls on negative, then we call that as that orbital formed, that is the bonding molecular orbital. We know they combine sidewise, in a sidewise fashion. By this combination, pi orbitals are formed, just like this. This is the pi orbital. This one and this one, it is lower lobe, symmetrical, cylindrical. This one positive, this one negative. So negative with negative, positive with positive. This one is also bonding molecular orbital, but pi bonding molecular orbital, because within this type of overlap occurred, means sidewise overlap occurred. This we call as pi 2py. Similarly, in a similar fashion, 2px orbitals will lead to formation of pi 2px. Now, their anti-bonding orbitals. For example, this one has positive, this one has negative. If they will combine according to subtractive overlap, positive with negative and negative with positive, then their combination will lead to formation of these orbitals. These are the anti-bonding molecular orbitals. These are the anti-bonding molecular orbital, means here positive, here negative, here positive. There are now two planes, this one and this one, where the probability of finding the electron, that is equal to 0. Means in case of anti-bonding orbitals, in between the nuclei, the probability of finding the electron, that is equal to 0. Means they do not support towards bond formation. They simply add energy to the molecule. Now, again I will repeat, it is molecular orbital theory's main idea. Number first, atomic orbitals combine, leading to formation of new orbital. We call those new orbitals as molecular orbitals. Number of atomic orbitals combined is equal to number of molecular orbitals formed. Simply, two types of molecular orbitals are formed. One set we call as bonding molecular orbital, second type as anti-bonding molecular orbital. Those molecular orbitals are formed as per the overlap in between atomic orbitals. If the overlap occurs in an additive fashion, then bonding molecular orbitals are formed. If that overlap occurs in a subtractive way, then anti-bonding molecular orbitals are formed. After that, these molecular orbitals are filled up by the electrons which are present within a molecule according to the same rules as applied in case of filling up atomic orbitals. These molecular orbitals, they are denoted by letters. These letters sigma, pi, delta, etc. These are the molecular orbitals. And we have two sets. One is this one, another one as it is star. As it is star, these star orbitals are called as anti-bonding molecular orbitals. These support the bonding and these orbitals do not support bonding. These the electrons, number of electrons within them, they lead to stability of the molecule, and the number of electrons within them lead to instability of the molecule. These are the main ideas of this theory. Now, in the next video, we will apply these ideas to describe energy level diagrams of homonuclear diatomic molecules. Thank you.